Hello everyone, and welcome to another Little Nightmares video. We've got a lot of content this past couple of days, and I plan on talking about some theories I have about the stuff we got. Probably some shorter videos, as this is all more speculative territory, with today's video not even being a theory, it's all just weird shit I noticed going on between the carnival and Little Nightmares 3. Why the hell are there so many references to the Maw? There's some mystery going on, and right now, I don't have the pieces to solve it all, but hopefully with time we can get some answers. Before I get into all of these odd parallels, however, I want to let all of you know about the theory review I'll be doing soon. Email me your Little Nightmares theories at theovermanln@gmail.com, and when the time comes, I'll review the best of your fan theories. I've also been learning Blender, and finally got a new computer, so if you all would be interested, let me know in the comments. Perhaps I could do live streams where I model things and show off my process. I'd have to get a mic first, as I don't really have one right now, but that could totally be something I do in the future. It'll give you all more insight onto the projects I'm working on, instead of me just saying at the end of all my videos, I swear I have projects, guys. And as always, check out the Patreon, Discord, and other socials. Let's get it. Little Nightmares 3 already has a lot in common with Little Nightmares 1. There's a lot of aesthetic parallels, but that's not what today's topic is. There's so many odd references to the Maw specifically, and it's just really baffling. The first and most obvious connection, we seem to start out the game by exiting this beached ship. This ship is the same model used in Little Nightmares 1 that ferries the guests to the Maw. Not only this, but we see an actual dead guest in the sand at the very beginning of the game. What the hell does this mean? Did the ship wash up on shore? Probably not. It doesn't seem like any water's been anywhere near the necropolis for, I don't know, decades? Did it, fall from the sky or something? I genuinely don't know what this means. I don't know what this could possibly entail. Maybe Little Nightmares 3 is set in the far future, and way in the past, one of the guest ships just crashed into the shore of the necropolis, and over time, the water kind of went away. But even then, that doesn't make sense, because the guest is still very much contact. He's still not decomposed, right? So, what does that mean? It's really weird. The second thing, also in the demo, is there's a secret place where you can unlock some costumes. Two of them. You can unlock this shadow set, this shadow costume set for Low and Alone, and you can unlock a wax bellman costume. After being cut from 2 mainline games in a row, he's finally made an appearance, somewhat, kind of. He was cut from the first game, and then he was gonna be a mask in the second game, and he was cut again, and now he is finally here. I don't know if this is a Maw connection, because I don't know how canon or lore important the costumes are. However, it is a Maw connection, even if it's not lore relevant. And also, it's just really cool that we finally get to see him in-game. A lot of the connections, however, are very much prevalent in the carnival. The big one, the big, really weird one, for some reason, the lady statues are back. What? What connection is there? What does this mean? I don't know. I don't know what connection was the lady originally a freak in the carnival? Like how back in the day they had freak shows? The lady very clearly looks pretty normal compared to the rest of the residents. Maybe she was a freak because while they're all ugly and horrific and monstrous, she was the only normal-looking one. So to their standards, she was a freak. Like that one Twilight Zone episode, almost, where all of the people in this town have, pig noses and warped faces. And there's this one lady who's trying to get cosmetic surgery to kind of fit in a little more. And she looks just like us, but to them, she's monstrous. Maybe there's a connection there? But even then, if she was, a freak or whatever, why would she have statues dedicated to her laying around the carnival? And we know it's not a one-off thing, because in the Lonely Ones book, they also describe coming across a lady statue, breaking it, and then seeing this weird mist come out. What is that about? That doesn't make any sense. Why is there this odd connection there? There's also the parallel that the Maw is this huge vessel in the ocean, and the carnival is a huge vessel in the air. That isn't as much of like a lore connection, but it is a very cool parallel, and I like that they're bringing back that surreal architecture setting type thing. Another thing, there seem to be gnomes everywhere, and gnomes are notoriously from the Maw. The lady is the only character we've seen turn children into gnomes, and while I have my personal theory that the butler can turn kids into gnomes, that's not by any means canon. The only canonical source of gnomes that we have so far is the lady. The lady is the only person who can make gnomes. So why are they everywhere? We see a gnome in the necropolis, we see gnomes throughout the carnival, we see boxes with gnome logos on it, we see the kin snap a gnome's neck. This is not a Maw parallel, this is just a weird thing in and of itself, but the kin and minikin are the first characters ever in the series to be outwardly violent towards gnomes. So these guys are especially freaks. On the topic of the kin and minikin, they look like characters we've seen on the Maw. The kin notoriously looks like Roger. He looks so much so like Roger that for a long time people were literally theorizing that they were the same two guys. They thought somehow it was a prequel and the kin would end up turning into Roger by the end of the game. So why do they look so similar? Why are they so akin to one another? And then the minikin. The minikin is pretty clearly based off of this portrait of the Blobby Man. Now, whether he is literally the Blobby Man or not, I have my own theory about, which I'll get into in another video. But still, there's that weird parallel of this guy. His face is plastered all throughout the Maw. Why is this guy's dummy so stinking important that his poster, his visage, his face has to be plastered everywhere? It doesn't make sense to me. One other thing, although this isn't a direct connection to the Maw, it is a parallel. There seemed to be some weird cannibalism thing going on with the herd. We see a lot of herd members being killed and gored and chopped up, and there's this scene that we see of the kin scooping guts and entrails out of a dead herd and then feeding it to the minikin. So they're bringing back that weird cannibalism thing, but why? Is there a connection to the Maw? I don't know. Maybe they're tangential businesses. Maybe they're like from the same parent company, if that even is a thing in the nowhere. What does it mean? It's so confusing to me. The last thing that I think is very, very strange comes from the Lonely Ones book. In that book, we are introduced to a mime-like character called the Performer. Now, I could get into how awesome the Performer is, but that is not the purpose of today's video. The Performer, as his name implies, performs, and we see firsthand one of his performances. Now, before we read about his performance, the main cast are exploring the backstage, and they see a bunch of painted backgrounds. And which painted background does the Performer end up using for his performance? A background described as a cold room with meat hooks, and at one point it details a knife being painted onto the background as well. A cold room filled with meat hooks. Where have we seen this before? It is describing, almost to a T, the meat locker rooms in the Maw. And not only that, but the Performer mimes out in his performance a certain segment where he walks over to an invisible door, opens it, and welcomes in what Ruse describes as looking like a herd member, like another one of the fat blobby characters. Later on, she details him as the Performer's guest. What does the Performer do with this character? He goes and he pretends to grab the knife the painted knife from the background, when he grabs it, it disappears from the background. Really cool detail, but I'll get into that later. He grabs the knife from the background, raises it above the guest's back, and then he acts sly about it. He pulls the knife back, and he's like, ooh, was that me? Acts all bashful, like he got caught. Ruse and Feast, after seeing this, try to escape. They turn away for a second, and we don't know what happens next in the performance. But when Ruse looks back, she sees him miming out, chopping something up on a table, and then getting the pieces that he's chopped up and then hanging them from the meat hooks. He is miming one of the chefs killing a guest. What? Why is he doing that? Why the chefs? Is the maw so notable in the nowhere that this is like a thing? This is a well-known thing? That the maw is this cannibalistic place? Does it advertise itself as such? Or is there a connection? Does specifically the carnival have some insider knowledge about the maw? There has to be some connection because the lady statues are everywhere. But what does this connection mean? There's a lot of these weird connections. And right now, I don't know what to make of them. So I'm gonna need your guys' help in the comments to tell me what you think it could mean. Is the carnival some alternate property also owned by the lady? Is the lady some evil homeowner that owns both the maw and the carnival? Or other properties in the necropolis? What's up? What's up with that? I don't know. I don't know the answer. In future videos, I plan to explore this idea more. Right now, this video, like I said at the beginning, is just a video exploring these weird connections. But I don't know what to do with them. I don't know what to do with these connections. So, I'm gonna need your guys' help to come up with some ideas as to what the hell this all means. Maybe I'll make a follow-up video when I have a theory before Little Nightmares 3 releases. Hopefully I can come to some conclusion and make a part 2. But right now I'm stumped. Right now I am stumped. All I can say is Little Nightmares 3 is looking really fucking promising. It is looking to be a really fun game, a really good game. And while it isn't by any means perfect, the game also isn't out yet. From what I've seen, I'm very, very, very excited. I love the dynamic of the kin and the mini-kin. I love this one shot where they're creepily watching this kid perform. It feels very predatory. It feels really just icky to watch. And I love it. It feels gross. It feels grimy. And I'm happy to have that gross, macabre kind of imagery back in Little Nightmares. I'm so excited. I know this video doesn't have a lot of conclusions, but I hope you enjoyed watching anyway. As said at the beginning of the video, check out all my socials, send me your emails if you have any theories, and as always, thank you for watching. Let me know again in the comments if any of you guys are interested in maybe watching me live stream sculpting stuff in Blender, or just doing art stuff in general. Once I figure it out, maybe I could play games on stream. Maybe I could do a Little Nightmares 1, 2, and 3 gameplay series once it's out. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.